Every now and then you go through your struggles where you feel like the world is caving in on you. And it happens more often than not, probably, depending on who you are. Sometimes it doesn't bother you, sometimes it does. But people today are trying really hard to prevent failure, and are also trying really hard to prevent pain. When those are the two most important teachers in life, are failure and pain. Now, there's a little analogy that I came up with not that long ago. I did it with the BS sessions with my best friend Lewis, and it's called the hammer and the anvil. The two most important teachers in life are, in this case, failure and pain. Failure is the anvil. Pain is the hammer. In order for you to, the story goes, you start off in your life as a tiny little piece of steel. Right here. Tiny piece of steel. Right there. And your job is to forge that piece of steel into whatever sword you want to become. Now, you need your two most important tools in this case for a blacksmith are the hammer and the anvil, which are failure and pain. Now, to heat up your metal, or your steel, depending on what you're doing, I'm thinking too hard with this, I'm a welder. To heat up your steel, you need fire. Fire is represented by rage. And people try really hard to prevent anger. People really try hard to prevent bad emotions from happening. You need that rage and you need the fire in order to heat up your steel to start working on your blade. Now, obviously, there are times where your steel might get too hot and then you're going to need to cool it off somehow. I like playing with these. You need a quench bucket. That quench bucket is represented by sadness. That quench bucket is needed to cool off your blade. That's represented by sadness, as I just said. Now, these things need to happen in order to forge your blade into the strong weapon you want to become. These things need to happen. Failure, pain, rage, and sadness all need to happen in order to forge you into the person that you want to become. Now, you also don't need to rush anything and just take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. You don't need to force working on your sword, just going like, what the fuck? You don't need to rush forging a sword. You never do that. Take your time. And don't forget to pause every once in a while and look back on the sword and the life that you built. Don't ever take that for granted. Because there's going to be times where you're going to go, oh shit, I really didn't, take pride in my work. You didn't take pride in the things that you did. You didn't take pride on the cool shit that you did in your life. And there are times where that'll slip past your brain, and that's fine. But I think you need to just look back and realize, hey, a lot of this shit that you're trying to prevent from happening kind of needs to happen. There's a little thing in Asian culture, the yin and yang, good and evil, the balance of the universe. Sometimes bad things need to happen in order for the good shit to come into play. Nothing wrong with that. Don't try so hard to prevent the bad shit from happening. Sometimes it's the universe telling you, or just giving you a lesson. You're like, hey, don't do this. Or, hey, let this happen to teach you something. There are many times where I have had bad shit happen to me, and I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But it taught me something. It taught me to be a better person in my life. That's the best you can do. Just look back and realize, hey, these bad things are actually lessons in life.